Hello and welcome to Our Time. They are Australia's peak body for dance, at present working as a voluntary board without funding as a leader in dance advocacy. AusDance National has a 44-year history of designing and delivering accessible and sustainable services to support Australian dance, bringing new resources and funding to the dance community through partnerships and collaborations. And here to explain what AusDance is are the President and the Vice President of the South Australian chapter, Amanda Kimber, and Lana Adamuszek. No, I didn't get it right again, did I?
No.
Say it again.
Adamuszek.
She knows.
I know.
Thanks for coming to talk about this because it's something that's dear to all of our hearts, mine included yours. But so that we know what we're talking about and why you're part of AusDance, let's start with you. Tell us your background in dance and performance.
Thanks, Malcolm. Well, I've been dancing ever since I was a wee tot, starting with Sheila Lang here in Adelaide, going through the classical ballet exams and so on. Then I went overseas for a while and performed in a ballet company, then got into jazz cabaret, which was so excited, before turning back.
It saved your feet in toe shoes?
Yes, I do. I've still got the scars to prove it.
I know.
But then I came back to Adelaide and did a dance degree at the Adelaide University and got into secondary education, which I really love, and I've had almost 30 years in the secondary classroom now, teaching dance from years 7 to 12, and at the moment I'm actually working developing curriculum in the arts. So dance education and dance has always been very close to my heart, and I've actually been a member of AusDance since uni days when it was first began.
Why is it so important to have dance in schools?
Look, I think dance in schools, it's one of 5 arts that are a part of the curriculum, and it gives...
The others are...
The others being drama,
yes,
music.
I hate that word because to me it's acting, not drama, because dance and acting, singing, they're all
synonymous.
They are, but they're the proper names. Drama is a style of acting.
Ah, okay, right.
I say this every show, every time anybody says drama, I say, but shouldn't that be acting? But for that reason, because I think it gives the wrong message that we're only teaching people to be dramatic.
No, I think
it's changed over time. Yeah.
A much more generic sort of term now, when you refer to it in education.
Yeah. But that's like saying we teach classical or we teach jazz in my book. Sorry. My little axe to grind every time I can.
That's fine.
I want to change the world.
Don't we all?
Yes.
We should all be dancing.
Actually. Yeah. No, but what you just said is quite right. We do want to change the world because we want kids to have a real appreciation of what dance is, but we also need to develop their bodies so they'll have strong bodies.
But the beauty about dance in education is that not only does it develop their bodies, but it gives them that self-awareness and that personal confidence in themselves, awareness of themselves, as well as just through the art form developing that empathy for those around them and connects them culturally as well, all over the world as well as.
But you're still dancing
Australia.
when you can.
I am still dancing. I dance every Saturday morning with Dancers Co-op over in Unley. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I absolutely love it. It feeds my soul. I think anybody that's ever danced carries that with them always. It's
a feeling in your body, isn't it? It's like flying.
Yes.
If we could fly, I think dance is the closest to flying. Would you agree? Where did you start, Lana?
Well, I started with Johnny Young Talent School, so as a young one, with you, and moved on to another school down Semaphore and completed all my jazz and tap exams and CSTD syllabus, and had lots and lots of opportunities to perform in public. So we performed at like Life Being events, shopping centres, even a television appearance on ABC. So had a lot of experience young performing live in many different genres, mainly jazz, tap,
But you're also an actor.
Well, throughout high school I finished SACE 1 and 2 dance, but started to gravitate more to acting. So eventually started, after high school, trained more in film acting, and then trained under Catherine Dean for a little while, and then I completed my advanced diploma at AC Arts in performing arts acting. But all that time I was always still had my hands teaching dance for studios, and there was a small amount of movement and dance included in our degree or diploma.
Of course.
So I was still always involved
because
in
actors
that.
need to move. They
Yeah,
need
so
to know
it was
how
always
to
a
move,
strong
haven't
in
you?
the acting diploma. It was always something that we did probably about 3 or 4 times a week. And our Jen Havelberg, our movement teacher, had a strong contemporary dance background, so I loved it because I was kind of good at it because I already had that sort of base. But there was a lot of exploration through it. So it was about preparing the body for work. As much as it was warming up and physically warming up and stuff like that. So I'd always done that, and I finished that when I was in 2007. And from then on, I was always connected with the local Adelaide theatre scene. So I was either acting in a play or choreographing a musical.
Or working in an agency.
Or, eventually that came along too. I worked for Actors Inc. and Essential Talent, and I was their school coordinator. So I coordinated all the music and dance classes, drama classes, ended up teaching there a lot as a result, whether it was relief teaching or eventually teaching my own classes, but also got to understand the professional side of the industry in terms of being an agent and the professional work, promo work, all that sort of stuff, overseas work as well. Santaland, obviously, they had the first Santaland and I got the opportunity to perform in that. And I did that for a while, almost up until I got pregnant with my first child. And then I stood back from all of it. So I had a good solid 10 years of being in shows and, lots of work and stuff like
well,
that.
You
I never went overseas.
Didn't you go to Singapore?
I didn't go to Singapore, no. I didn't go to Singapore.
Thought you had.
Missed out on that. But that show that went to Singapore was done here at Santa's Wonderland, and I did it here.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's what it was. It was that show, yeah.
But you never really lose the desire. I mean, once dance is imprinted in your body, in your muscles and in the way you move, you never really lose that. So I think it's
for me it all started
valuable.
from dance. If I didn't start dancing, I think, dancing and singing as a 4-year-old, it never would have led me along the musical theatre path. That never would have got me to acting, and I never would have concentrated so heavily in that and done all the things I've done.
Do you know, I think almost everybody I've spoken to on this program who's had a start in a dance school of some description always looks back on that as the best thing they ever did, because it's given them a better understanding of their body, how to use it, how to walk, how to talk, how to be confident. The confidence thing is the thing that comes out the most. What if you
but
could?
It's working hard as well. You're always,
it is,
true. Especially I guess.
Learning to sweat.
Yeah, I mean, my school wasn't necessarily a big competition school, but we were always working towards a public performance somewhere, not necessarily just your end of year concert. So there were always, and exams, you were working towards exams and things like that. So you were always working towards things. So the ethic was serious, and my parents were not necessarily stage kind of parents. They weren't at all. If I wanted to quit tomorrow, they might have let me, but I would have had to have finished out the term. I would have had to seen out my commitment and stuck it out,
I think it's hard.
Which I'm not sure how much we're seeing. I think we do see it in some parents these days, but...
Well, I think it's hard for a parent who doesn't have a background and doesn't have the feeling that you have when you've done this.
Yeah.
Because you actually completely understand why you want to do it. It's something that burns inside and you've got to turn up.
That's
like
it.
You
so
just said.
as a young person, you just really enjoy it, and you find you're pushing your parents. Oh no, new classes, I've got to do those new classes, and you're always wanting to add on. So I think as a young person pretty quickly if it's something you really have to do.
But I think what it also builds in you is commitment, and in young people, I know older people often say, oh, young people don't have the commitment they used to, but I think dancers do because they understand the discipline that it takes, but it also builds resilience, and that's another thing that many people say, young people don't have enough resilience to stick
Well, it's
to
different
something.
to sport again.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing that's really important. If you could sum up in 1 or 2 words what dance really has meant to you, that's really taking a word from the top shelf, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. What it means to me. Look, to me, dance is a form of breathing for me.
Yep.
It feeds me, if you like.
Feeds the soul.
It feeds the soul. It is. I get really depressed if I'm not dancing regularly.
Is it a performer thing as well, do you think? Is it the need to dance? Do you think it's a performer thing?
So I have found that in my older, as I've gotten older, the performance element for me is less than just the doing or being involved part. So I don't need to be applauded as much anymore. I used to really get off on that stage feeling and being applauded at the end of it and stuff. But now that I've had a couple of kids and gotten a little bit older and probably more secure and whatever, it's just the act of it. It's just the catharsis of actually doing it, I think, that brings you that joy or peace or whatever it is that you get out of it. So, I mean, yeah. And I like my daughter's she'll be 5 this year. She started dancing herself.
Well, of course.
But but it may not be something for her forever. She may not take it where I took it. She may not want to do it.
That's the good thing about the discipline in the first place.
Yeah, but if she can get,
we've got to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a tick. Amanda and Lana are my special guests on Our Time, and we're talking about Oz Dance. So let's talk. Oz Dance has been around for...
Well, it started as a national body in 1977, but here in South Australia we got our first funding in 1988, where we got funding from Arts SA, and we set up and had our first office, which started in Grote Street at the Centre of Performing Arts.
Right. And then, of course, all around Australia, or most states of Australia, have Oz Dance.
At that stage, yes, or most of them did. Unfortunately, it's not as...
moved about a bit.
It has moved about. Northern Territory and most recently New South Wales have lost their branches because they also lost their funding, and particularly the New South Wales branch that closed last year. That's a real loss to the Oz Dance
when you say
network.
Lost the funding, initially government put some money in to set up the organisation, and the organisation was set up for what reason?
Well, a lot of advocacy, like dance advocacy, I suppose.
So breaking that down, that's assisting dancers, dance companies and dance teachers and some dancers.
Yes, it was originally formed by a gathering of 500 independent dancers, and they wanted advocacy for the art form, but they also wanted a consistent set of quality assurance
in
items.
what specific areas? Like in salary areas?
It started off mainly in safe dance practice,
right.
But it has expanded to looking at salary caps and that sort of thing.
Well, when you talk about the safe dance practices, clearly the old way of doing things, where we talked before about wearing point shoes and so on, there was not as much care or understanding of what happens to your feet long term. And dance teachers would have a stick quite often if you're doing classical work and give you a tap on the shin.
Yes, I had a few taps.
Had a few taps?
For sure.
And those things, of course, not appropriate anymore. It's better to get the mind right to get the body right.
So there's been huge advances in research as well as development of injury prevention, as well as a mental and emotional help and how to support dancers' well-being emotionally as well as physically. And there are guidelines that were originally written by Oz Dance, and they still exist today if you look at the Dance Australia's website. And they're great guidelines for anybody teaching movement, whether it be a studio teacher, be a private provider or a school teacher.
Because that's the areas that not everybody would sort of completely understand. There are all these different categories, for want of a better expression, because there are dance teachers now in most schools, both primary and secondary. There are studio teachers who obviously employ people as well. And there are dancers, and then there are dance companies, and it crosses all forms of dance.
And that is what is unique about AusDance as an association. Other subjects, if you like, have associations, but they don't cover all those sectors. And I think that's what makes AusDance so special and so unique, because we got that opportunity to make those connections.
Right. Why do you think there's been a bit of a dip in the organisation for a period of time?
2015 we did lose our funding, so we've been operating for the last 10 years unfunded and
with volunteers.
Yeah. I mean, the board consisted of a lot of volunteers over years anyway, but really for the last 10 years it is all only volunteers.
Well, it's hard to administer if you haven't got anyone who actually not only has the time, but it is a job.
That's right.
There's work that has to be done regularly.
Yeah, and you do have to give up a lot of time to make things happen. In these later years, I think we've focused more on professional development of teachers and offering more PD opportunities for teachers and / artists as well, who were moonlighting as teachers as well. So
as most have to at some point.
That's it. So a lot of the focus has been there, and we've also had to be realistic about what we can deliver and how much manpower we have to deliver it and how much time we have as well. So
with websites and things, so people can access a lot of information from those sorts of areas, but the reality is if you can get people in the same room and give them the same information, everybody walks out knowing the same thing. And I know there are plans for seminars, certainly here in South Australia. What advantage do you think they really are that I didn't just say already?
Well, I think, and we have had quite a few sessions, workshops, seminars over the years, and one of the
Q&A,
advantages that we get specialists in to talk about specific things that are particularly relevant, whether it be to school teachers or to studio teachers or to independent artists. But I think one of the biggest advantages is that give them an opportunity to network and find each other. We're all a dance community here in South Australia, and we all focus on in different areas, but we can all be strengthened by the knowledge that others bring to the parties.
Well, everyone's sort of teaching not the same thing, but similar things, because it all comes under the umbrella of dance.
Absolutely.
And our communication, that's one thing that has sort of stayed strong. So we do have a quarterly newsletter, which I've been sort of managing most of the time consistently for the last few years. So whatever information that we can get out to the community, from the community, we try to administer that. And, other mail outs and things like that we're trying to do as often as possible to get at least information out there.
Well, we've talked about really the people that create the dance or teach the dance. What about the dancers themselves?
Well, there's opportunities for them to meet each other and to meet choreographers, so they might be that connection between performer and creator, because every creator needs a performer and vice versa. So there's those opportunities.
And producers too, for that matter.
Absolutely, yes. So there's those opportunities, as well as one thing that I'd really like to do in the near future is to connect studio teachers to independent artists, because the studio teachers have the studios that on the whole aren't used a great deal in the middle of the day.
No, they're not.
And independent artists need a place to rehearse. So there should be there's mutual benefit in that relationship that we're hoping to try and develop. We also, Dancers in Schools used to be a very strong AusDance program that's gone by the wayside over the last couple of years because we didn't have an administrator to organise it.
But this is what you've been working on.
No,
well,
not myself, but I've used it as a high school teacher in the past, getting a specific artist for a specific genre of dance into the school, which is very valuable. So they understand
there's a variety. It's not a one thing.
Absolutely, yes.
What's the most, I suppose, popular style of dance to teach or for children particularly to be? Is it everything? Is it still a bit of everything, or it's... Like hip hop, for example, had a moment in the sun.
And it still does. It still does. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of kids now in the studios are taking a lot of disciplines at once, so they're not just all focused in one area. I mean, Amanda can comment more on curriculum and what the focus is there, but even that's expanded from my days and your days. You know, it was very contemporary strong. But now I feel like they're really giving them opportunities to experience a lot more.
A lot of the classical ballet studios have taken on school curriculum, so they're doing classical ballet all the way through to year 12. There's a lot doing jazz. There are still a lot doing hip hop. So the choice is broad.
I just mentioned that as a thing, because that used to be the thing. If you wanted to get boys into classes, do hip hop, and hopefully those that with the real desire or the talent would broaden out to learn.
I mean, there are boys in dance. I mean, I think it's still very female heavy, but we are still seeing, I think, more boys
there are some
come along.
Pockets of some fabulous group. I know there was one high school in the northern parts of Adelaide that had an all-boys dance company, which was tremendous. So there's...
well, in almost every other culture, men dance.
Absolutely.
In the First Nation culture, men dance. It's really odd that whether it's our sort of English background or something, I don't know, but even that doesn't make sense because in English theatre there are dancers everywhere, both sexes.
Absolutely.
It's a thing that humans seem to be born with, the ability to move and to interpret through movement.
They say you'll dance before you walk. You know, you'll move. You know, you'll move to music before.
Well, you're laying on your back. You're doing all that a lot.
Yeah.
And I've read that the only two true arts are dance and architecture, because you need architecture to live in a home, to build a shelter, and you need dance to be able to communicate to the gods.
Communicate with the gods.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Now that could be taken anyway.
With an organisation like this, knowing that a lot of volunteers are involved, what's the message you'd like to give to people who are on the perimeter of dance and haven't yet connected?
I'd like to say have a go.
It's a big question, isn't it?
Yes, it's huge. Have a go, because a lot of people put it in an elite sort of corner, and it really isn't. Dance is for everyone. There is some form of dance for everyone, and particularly if you're not, or even if you are sport orientated and you want a different way of expressing yourself, dance is a great way of doing that.
There's always been those stories in the press about football players going to classical ballet classes to learn to jump higher.
Well, I think they absolutely should, and landing and all that sort of stuff, and understanding the kinesiology of how the foot, moves. And I think there's a lot of relevance. Everywhere. It can filter through, and you don't have to be an elite dancer. You don't have to be a comp kid. You can just go and enjoy doing it.
You can do that, but even as a performer, you don't have to be a great dancer to be in a show either.
No.
Look, there's so much more to talk about in this, and the best thing is to log on to a website and find out the information that you need. And we'll be back in just a moment with Amanda and Lana with a whole lot more about Ozdance. Welcome back. We've been talking about Ozdance with Amanda and Lana. What are the advantages coming up, for example, with Ozdance, or the real reasons to be part of a membership?
Well, one of the major reasons that gets a lot of our studio members in is the sports vouchers, which is a federal government initiative.
Yep. And they offer $200 for each school-age child to be able to spend on fees like dance fees or sports-related fees.
This is with dance studios.
Yes, it is. That dance studio does have to be a member of a peak body, and we are the peak body for dance, so they can access it that way.
We have insurance discounts across nationally for indemnity insurance. Any insurance studios might need any performing artists.
And they do. Yep. They definitely do.
Absolutely. But I think the biggest advantage is the networking. And
and there's something coming up, isn't there?
Yep. On Sunday the 26th at 2 p.m.
This is here in Adelaide.
Here in Adelaide, we have the next networking session. So if you're interested in that, please look us up.
Some interesting people
So Facebook page, Instagram page, all information will go out there. And if you are on our mailing list, you can get it emailed to you as well. We also have a very strong relationship with Educators SA, which is the overriding association for all educating associations.
Right.
So all the benefits associated with being a member of us being a member of them is received by Ausdance SA members as
And
well.
you
We're
being
talking
a
a lot
member
of
of-
retail stuff, Woolies, Dan Murphy's, lots of retail benefits. So
Okay.
there's a lot of things.
All good stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're a dancer, run a studio or a company, check it out. So until next time on Ad Time, thanks for joining us. Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you, Lana.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on Ad Time. So keep yourself nice till then. Bye.